We tend to think of Europe as a continent of cities, of cathedrals, museums, and streets worn smooth by 1,000 years of footsteps. But step outside those cities and something else appears. Glaciers grinding down mountainsides, waterfalls thundering out of solid rock, lakes so clear that boats seem to hang suspended in air, caves glowing an impossible shade of blue. Europe is smaller than most continents. Yet within its borders you can find volcanic deserts, tropical blue coastlines, primeval forests and Arctic light shows, sometimes within a single day's travel. These are places carved by ice, fire, and unimaginable stretches of time. Today we are traveling across the continent to find the most breathtaking natural wonders Europe has to offer. One, PLITVICE. Lakes, Croatia. 16 terraced lakes cascade down a forested valley, connected by waterfalls that never stop moving. What makes PLITVICE extraordinary is that the landscape is still being built. The water here is rich in dissolved minerals, and over thousands of years it has deposited layers of travertine rock, forming natural dams that grow a little higher each year. This means the waterfalls themselves are slowly rewriting their own shape. A landscape genuinely alive and changing. The water shifts through astonishing shades of turquoise, emerald, and deep blue depending on the light, the angle, and the minerals suspended within it. Wooden walkways carry visitors directly across the surface, so close that the spray reaches your face. Two, the Northern Lights, Scandinavia. Across the far north of Norway, Sweden, and Finland, the winter sky performs the greatest light show on Earth. The aurora borealis is created when charged particles streaming from the sun collide with gases high in our atmosphere, releasing energy as light. Oxygen produces the familiar greens and rare deep reds, while nitrogen creates purples and blues. The result is curtains of color that ripple, fold, and pulse across the darkness, sometimes for hours. For the peoples of the Arctic, these lights carry deep meaning for centuries, interpreted as spirits, as ancestors, or as omens. Seeing them in person is quieter and stranger than any photograph suggests, because the movement is what stays with you. Three, the Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. around 40,000 interlocking stone columns, most of them almost perfect hexagons. Step down from the cliffs into the cold Atlantic. They look manufactured, laid out with impossible precision. But they were formed roughly 60 million years ago, when a flood of molten lava cooled and contracted, cracking into geometric columns as it hardened. Ancient Irish legend offered a better story. The giant Finn McCool built the causeway as a bridge to reach a rival giant across the sea in Scotland. Remarkably, matching columns really do appear on the Scottish island of Staffa, formed by the same volcanic event. Waves crash over the lower stones constantly, making them slick and dark. Four, the Norwegian fjords. Nowhere else in Europe is the raw power of ice so visible. During the Ice Ages, colossal glaciers ground their way toward the sea, gouging out valleys with vertical walls thousands of feet high. When the ice finally melted and sea levels rose, the ocean flooded in, creating deep, narrow inlets of dark water reaching far inland. Waterfalls poured directly off the cliff tops, some falling hundreds of meters before reaching the surface. Tiny farms cling to impossible ledges partway up the rock, once reachable only by ladder. Sailing through them, the scale becomes disorienting, because a cruise ship looks like a toy against walls that simply do not stop rising. Five, the Blue Grotto, Capri, Italy. A sea cave on the coast of Capri that glows with a blue so intense it looks artificial. Visitors must transfer into small rowing boats and lie flat as the boatman pulls the vessel through an entrance barely a meter high, timing the swell precisely. Inside, the cavern opens up and the water blazes with electric blue light. The effect is caused by sunlight entering through a larger opening hidden below the waterline. As the light passes through the seawater, red tones are filtered out and only blue reaches the cave, illuminating it from beneath. The Romans knew this place well, and statues recovered from the seabed suggest emperors treated it as a private sanctuary. Six, the Matterhorn, Switzerland. Perhaps the most recognizable mountain on the planet. Rising to 4,478 meters on the border between Switzerland and Italy, The Matterhorn is famous for its near-perfect pyramid shape, with 4 steep faces aligned roughly to the compass points. That shape was sculpted by glaciers grinding away at all sides simultaneously over hundreds of thousands of years, carving the peak into a sharpened horn of rock. It was one of the last great alpine summits to be climbed, and the first successful ascent in 1865 ended in disaster when 4 members of the team fell to their deaths during the descent. A tragedy that shocked Victorian Europe. Seven. The Azores, Portugal. 9 volcanic islands scattered in the middle of the Atlantic, roughly 1,500 kilometers from mainland Europe. They sit directly on the meeting point of major tectonic plates, which explains everything about them. Crater lakes fill collapsed volcanoes. Hot springs bubble up through the earth. And the soil is so rich that hydrangeas grow wild along the roadsides in vast blue walls. The most famous view is Sete Cidades, twin lakes sitting in an enormous crater, one appearing green and the other blue. Legend blames a shepherd and a princess whose forbidden love produced the 2 lakes from their tears. The truth is simply light, depth, and reflection. Eight. The Dolomites, Italy. Pale limestone towers erupt vertically from green alpine meadows, forming a mountain range unlike any other in Europe. What makes the Dolomites so distinctive is their origin. This rock was once a tropical coral reef beneath a shallow prehistoric sea, later lifted thousands of meters into the air by colliding continents. Fossils of ancient marine creatures are still embedded in cliffs high above the tree line. At sunrise and sunset, the pale rock catches the light and glows a warm rose pink, a phenomenon known locally as inrosadira. It is one of the most beautiful daily events in the Alps, lasting only minutes before the color fades back to gray. Nine. The Algarve coast, Portugal. Along Portugal's southern coastline, the Atlantic has spent millennia carving golden sandstone cliffs into arches, sea stacks, tunnels, and hidden caverns. The most famous is Benegil Cave, a vast domed chamber with its own private beach inside, lit by a perfectly circular opening in the ceiling far above. Sunlight pours down through that hole like a spotlight onto the sand, making the whole cave glow amber. It is reachable only from the water, by boat, kayak, or swimming. All along this coast, secret beaches sit hidden between cliffs, accessible through narrow gaps that appear only at low tide. And the erosion continues today. BIAŁOWIEżA Forest, Poland and Belarus. The last great primeval forest of the European lowlands, and a genuine window into what the entire continent once looked like. Before agriculture, forests like this stretched almost unbroken across Europe. Here, uniquely, a portion has survived largely untouched, protected for centuries as a royal hunting ground. Trees grow to enormous size and, crucially, are allowed to fall and rot where they land, creating the deadwood habitat that most managed forests lack entirely. It is home to Europe's largest land mammal, the European bison, which was hunted to extinction in the wild and then successfully reintroduced here from captive animals. Walking through it feels genuinely ancient. Lake BLED, Slovenia. An alpine lake of striking green-blue water with a small island at its center crowned by a church and a medieval castle perched on a cliff above. It is often described as looking like a painting, and the geology behind it is real enough. The lake was formed by glacial and tectonic activity, and it is fed partly by warm thermal springs, which raise the water temperature enough for swimming in summer. Traditional wooden boats called pletna carry visitors to the island, rowed standing up by boatmen whose families have held the right for generations. 99 steps lead from the jetty up to the church door. The Icelandic Highlands. Iceland sits atop a volcanic ridge where two tectonic plates are pulling apart, and the interior of the island is one of the most alien landscapes on Earth. Rhyolite mountains streaked in ochre, red, and green rise above black lava fields. Steam vents hiss from cracks in the ground. Glaciers sit directly on top of active volcanoes, meaning that when an eruption occurs, ice and fire collide with catastrophic force. Waterfalls appear everywhere, fed by meltwater. Much of the region is genuinely uninhabitable and accessible only in summer. And NASA once used these landscapes to train astronauts preparing for the surface of the Moon. "12 Wonders shaped by ice, fire, water, and time." Europe may be a continent of ancient cities, but its oldest and greatest works were never built by human hands at all. If this journey inspired you, tap the subscribe button below and watch it light up, because there is so much more of this beautiful planet still waiting for us. Until next time, keep exploring.